whether you're a small business or a large business, I think, like you just mentioned, I've got 80 customers. I want to get to 100. Well, what's that going to do for my expenses? I have an idea of how much more revenue I can get, right, by what I charge, but what am I making in terms of a net profit perspective? And I think when you have a goal that you're trying to accomplish as a business, that you're trying to drive towards or obtain, when you have somebody like Leslie's that can help you along that way or help guide in that perspective to ask some of those questions or to be able to provide some of that information, that's going to allow you to feel more comfortable about obtaining that, right? And sometimes we put out big goals and we go, well, now how do we get there? Well, this is how we can get there.
This is episode 215 with Chad Christensen of Leslie's. Enjoy! Welcome to your go-to podcast for the pool and spa industry. My name is Tyler Rasmussen.
And my name is Greg Viafania. And this is the Pool Chasers Podcast.
All right, well, welcome back, Chad. Glad to have you back on the podcast. How you been?
I am doing wonderful. It's great to be back. It's been a while since I've been on the podcast, and it's great to be here again.
Yeah, we're excited to have you back talking about some Leslie stuff. Got some new exciting announcements towards the end, but you said you're in San Antonio?
I am currently in San Antonio, beautiful San Antonio, is I think what everybody around here says. So the weather is great right now. It was raining earlier, but it's great right now. It's perfect pool weather, which is terrific, and I'm sure there's a lot of pool trade professionals out here in San Antonio that are servicing some pools today.
Nice. Yeah, I've been to San Antonio recently a couple of times. It's definitely humid there, but nice. It's not Southern California, but
you just got to convince yourself, right? You just got to convince. It's beautiful San Antonio.
Yeah. You can put some palm trees up too and pretend, No. All right. Well, let's jump into this thing. So we've had you guys on before. We've talked about some of Leslie's programs, but want to jump into kind of a reminder on what that is and what Leslie's can offer pool trade professionals. So can you start off by speaking on that?
Absolutely. I guess taking a quick step back, I think you think of the time of the year that we're in right now. And for a lot of, I know the pool trade professionals, it's been a number of months now of early days, hot days, hard days that they've been out there. In certain parts of the country, I think they might be starting to see a little light at the end of the tunnel. But when you've been putting in that amount of work and you've been so focused on being able to take care of your customers and with your business, it's easy to forget some of the things that are out there. That you could take advantage of as a business owner or as part of a larger business. And, from a Leslie's perspective, we have a lot to offer the pool trade professional. And I think that's something that being on this podcast to reiterate to those individuals that have had their heads down this entire summer and focused on doing what they need to do, to remind them of what's out there that they could take advantage of. And, when we think about it from a Leslie's perspective, there's really three areas that we try and focus on with the pool trade professional. Our goals are we want to save time. If we can save the pool trade professional time, that's invaluable to them. We want to save them money, and we want to be able to be a resource. Those are the three areas that we really focus on, for the professional.
Yeah, I think you're right. I mean, when you get through the summertime, your head's down, you're just running and gunning, and sometimes you may not be thinking about your bottom line and how you can save that and help it. You're kind of just running around trying to take care of things, but it's a good time, towards the end of the summer here and kind of when we get into reevaluating our business season, to really start to think through how you do what you do, where you buy what you buy, and kind of, set things up in place to make it a little easier for you going into next year. So let's talk about that time aspect. So how does Leslie's help them save time?
The biggest thing from a Leslie's perspective is we've got over 915 retail stores. We've got over 50 pro stores. We've got over 17 commercial centers. We are where the pools are, and we are where the pool routes are. And so being located where we are, there's that convenience factor that really plays a role for the pool trade professional, right? You can be driving to your route, you can be in your route, you need to pick up some supplies, you need to pick up product, you can swing by and be right back in your route. You don't have to drive for a significant amount of time before you find a Leslie's. We're going to be located where you need to go. And the other aspect that we focus on at Leslie's is for those pool trade professionals is we want to have a priority experience for them, a priority customer service or a priority counter service for them. So when they come in, they know they're going to get treated differently. They can go pick up the products they need. We'll be able to handle them regardless of if there's a line or not, because we know the type of customers that they are. Be able to get them in, get them out. And like I mentioned, earlier, being able to save time, that allows for a pool trade professional to see more pools. It allows for them to be back to their family earlier. It allows for a lot of options that is beneficial to the individual.
Yeah, and I think the convenience thing is definitely the piece here, right? With the early hours, late hours, weekends. I think you guys have made it really easy for pool trade professionals to come during the times that they're working. Sometimes with distribution, the hours are pretty consistent. They're not always open early. They're not open the weekends all the time. So definitely having that resource there available to you, you should take advantage of that, because that makes a big difference for sure.
Yeah, you're exactly right. I mean, you even mentioned it there, the weekends, the early hours. We're trying to be able to be available for when the pool trade professional needs us, and being able to get them in and out is key to it, and being where we're located is key to it. And at the end of the day, saving time, invaluable for the professional.
Right. And I think, there's a Leslie's on every corner in Arizona almost. So like you said, you are where the pools are. I mean, especially way up north, and other, distribution's only in certain areas, and, definitely makes it easy to stop by and get something if you need it at those remote areas too. So for us, and I know a lot of the Sunbelt states, you guys are in very good locations for sure.
We spend a lot of time doing research for where those locations are, and we make sure that the pool counts represent where we put those locations. So we have a high confidence level that we're putting locations where the pools are, and that if the pools are there, we know there's going to be pool trade professionals that are going to be close behind. So that's a good thing.
Makes sense. All right, let's jump into what everybody loves, and that's the money. So how can someone save money with Leslie's?
Well, I'll reiterate one thing before I go to the saving money. When we talked about that convenience, when the locations are where your pool route is and you're not having to drive, you're saving gas money. And I know over the last number of months, there's been a number of pool trade professionals that have talked to us and have brought that up to us as far as how much they can save because they're not putting those extra miles on. But Tyler, as you mentioned, the second aspect that we talked about is saving money. And for us, with Leslie's, the biggest thing that we have done, and we did this on a podcast previous with you, is we launched our Pro Partner Program.
Right.
At that time, I think we had a couple hundred, individuals that are a part of the program. And, now we're over 2,500 across the country.
Wow.
And so it's continued to grow in leaps and bounds. And, for us, we've got competitive pricing across the country, but our Pro Partners is the best pricing that we offer, right? When it comes to tablets, when it comes to shock, and, with Cal Hypo, our Pro Partners get the best pricing that we have available. And it's been something that, like I mentioned, that growth from a couple hundred to over 2,500, you're seeing that aspect of individuals that really want to partner with Leslie's. Because it's not just a pricing program, it's about partnering with Leslie's to build your business. And in turn, we can help you build your business, and you're going to help build our business as well. And so I think that's been the biggest thing we've done from a pricing perspective. We launched that Pro Partner Program, and it's really changed our dynamic with what we can offer the pool trade professional. On top of the pricing, that program was really founded on the referral aspect, and it was founded off the ability for customers coming into a Leslie's location, or I should say residential consumers coming into a Leslie's location, looking for a weekly pool service, and Leslie's being able to refer to them, an individual that we recommend, that we stand by, that they can be able to connect and have somebody take care of their pool. And that win-win-win was the foundation. We saw the growth. We added the pricing. We added limits. We added a number of items to the program that has made it very enticing. And we're not slowing down right now either. We've got a lot of people that have expressed a lot of interest relating to the program, and we're excited to see where it's going to continue to go in the future.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, from a couple hundred to a couple thousand is huge, and I think we've helped spread that word. You guys have done a lot of, different trade shows and efforts to make that happen. And, I think what stands out most to me is that Leslie's has really tried to, come back to the pool partners. There was a time, where it didn't feel that way as much, but I feel like the last year and a half to 2 years, 3 years has really been this, reshaping of how the pool trade professionals treated at Leslie's, and how you guys view the partnership with us and them, and just how you now realize and want to be that resource and be that partner. So I think there's been a true effort there, and I think everybody should really be appreciative of that, because from, like you said, the pricing is competitive, the convenience is there. And so I do think you guys have made a tremendous effort, and when I know we appreciate it, and everybody that we know that uses you guys appreciates that for sure.
Well, thank you, Tyler. And I think obviously I can mention going from that couple hundred to couple thousand, that big kickoff was jumping on this podcast to start with.
Right.
And being able to get to an audience. So I think being able to have this avenue, and I thank you again very much for having us be a part of it and be on here.
Sure.
Because I think that's the customer base that you mentioned, that historically, to all you pool trade professionals out there, you might not have felt the same type of love from Leslie's that I hope you're feeling now. I know we're not perfect. I know not everybody has the exact same experience, and we're not able to save everybody money, or we're not able to save everybody time. But between both of those, one of those, we're working towards being able to have that benefit for you. And we're going to continue to invest in programs, and we're going to continue to invest in items that are going to help make the experience at Leslie's an improved experience. But to your point, we're really pushing a lot of emphasis to make sure that pool trade professionals know that we're here, and that we're going to continue to be here for them.
Yeah, I've definitely seen that. And I think as a business owner, you really just should always take advantage of anything that can help you out. You know what I mean? If you shop at distribution, being this pro partner or having a Leslie's account and utilizing that for your resource, maybe you'll go there one day and you really have a great experience and you become a pro partner, right? But you always want the advantage wherever you are as a business owner, and it just allows you to have that almost on every corner, like I said, in Arizona. So it is worth being a partner just for that aspect, right, of having that option. And then really it's picking and choosing who takes care of you the best. It's all about relationships, and who's giving you the best experience, right? Who's giving you the best attention and priority, and makes you feel wanted as a customer and as a person. That's who you're going to, lean towards when you want to spend your money, someone that's going to take care of you. So I feel like you should always have those options.
Without a doubt. And, I think that's why we call it partners, is because that's what we're looking for. We're looking for a partnership. We're not just looking to be the low cost. We're not just looking to be somebody that, carries, or just has this one program. We want individuals, we want professionals that are looking to partner with Leslie's. And to your point, as a business owner, you want to explore all of those options that are available to you to make sure that you're fit, and that relationship with where you're getting your product or where you're being provided guidance is the right fit. And that's one of the things that we want to be able to provide the pool trade professional.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a good transition to the next topic, which is, how are you guys a market resource, right? How can you help be that resource to these professionals?
This is an aspect that from when I first started on the pool trade side of our business, I was not as familiar with. And over the course of the last, basically couple years, hearing more and more stories of pool trade professionals that, hey, they got started. They started their business, right? They got things rolling. They wanted to figure out, how can I do this? I've seen other people do it. I want to go do it. And the stories of those individuals going into a Leslie's and just going day after day after day, asking a question, following up on a question, being able to determine, why should I use this product? How should I, how does this product work in terms of taking care of this type of pool? Why should this filter be the filter I use? All of those questions started coming up, and you start to realize so many of our Leslie's employees have been in the industry and been in the market for so long that we really are here for the pool trade professional as a tremendous resource for them to be able to ask questions, for them to be able to get advice. Now, I'm not saying that we know, all of our store teams know more than all the pool trade professionals out there, so don't get me wrong, because there's a lot of times we're asking them as well. But when you look at it across the country, we have this tremendous talent level of store managers, or as we call them, general managers, as well as with our wholesale sales representatives. Our outside sales team, most of those individuals have either had their own pool route in the past or have been working in pools for more years than I've been alive. So, I mean, there's a huge element of experience that we have. And it doesn't mean that, we have all the answers, but what it means is that you've got a comfort level that you can ask someone. And you can help build that relationship that you were just talking about, Tyler, to really feel comfortable with what you're doing and how you're doing it, right? Sometimes we all need that little just, hey, is this correct? Is this right? Good. I feel good about it now, right? And I think, that's definitely something that Leslie's has, is that experience level with our teams to be able to help provide that context to our customers.
I think it's huge for anybody, but especially for those maybe just starting out, or, one of the one pollers out there. There's a lot of them. And, I think that having somebody and having that capability of just asking questions is really huge. When we first started, it was difficult to go to distribution, ask questions. There's 30 other people staying in line with you that have more knowledge than you probably, or somewhat sort of close to that. So you feel embarrassed to ask questions. I know it's a little bit more of a comfort level going into a Leslie's store with maybe, one or two other people in there. Sometimes it's just you one-on-one with the managers. You feel a little bit more comfortable asking questions like that and learning, because I know that, in the trade groups and these other places, people get bashed all the time for asking questions. And it's like, at one point everybody was at that point in their lives and point in their career where they didn't know how to do it. You know what I mean? Kudos for them for starting a business and putting themselves out there and grinding, and that takes a lot of courage and effort. So the learning aspect just comes, and everybody's been at a point where they knew very little to where they are now. So I think having that real one-on-one opportunity at Leslie's stores, especially with the partner program and getting referrals and being able to grow your business, I think is a huge piece for anybody out there looking to kind of grow like that.
Exactly. And I think you hit it on the head. It's that comfort level, right? When you've got somebody that you can bounce questions off of, when you got somebody that you can go to when you have a difficult situation arise. Not that that's always going to be the case, right? Once you've been in this business long enough, a lot of times you've seen a lot, but there's always certain cases that can come up where you just want to get a second opinion. Even when you've been doing it for a number of years, you always want to sometimes ask and say, what's new with this new product that's come out, or this new piece of equipment that's come out versus the old piece of equipment? What's different with this shock versus this other shock that I haven't seen before that people are carrying now? It's great to have that resource, and, that's what we're here for, is to be that resource. And getting started, been in the industry a long time, there's all across the spectrum people that can have questions, and we want to be able to be here to answer them.
Yeah, I mean, I learn stuff every day, and I've been doing it for 10 years now, so I think there's plenty of room for growth for everybody. Every time I see situations, I'm like, never seen that before, Have to
Just so when you think, right? Then all of a sudden something's going to come up, and you're going to go, whoa, what is that?
Yeah, exactly. But I think, the sale, like you mentioned, the sales team too is a cool aspect that I don't know if people are aware of. I mean, there are more resources than just the store manager, general managers. You know what I mean?
Our WSR team that we've continued to expand it over the last couple of years, and we call them our WSRs. They're our wholesale sales representatives
Yep.
that are there specifically for the pool trade professionals. They're designed to help them be able to build their business, connect with the stores, and really be that true market resource that's available, and that's what's exciting.
How do you get a hold of those people?
Yeah, so what we've got WSRs across the entire country, and what I would tell all the pool trade professionals is go into your local Leslie store. Right? Stop by your local Leslie store, speak with the general manager, talk with them, build that relationship. They'll connect you with the WSR if there's one in your market. And like I said, we cover basically all of the Sun Belt, so I'm pretty sure in most of every market we're going to have somebody there. But that's something that your local general managers can be able to help make that connection, right? And we want to start that connection at the local store level, because they can be able to help build and answer a lot of questions, and then be able to take it to that next level with our WSR to help really grow and accelerate that business. That's what we look to try and accomplish.
Awesome. Yeah, I think that's very valuable. So people should definitely take advantage of that. We're going to take a quick break. When we get back, we discuss how to utilize Leslie's for business planning and projections, as well as the new Hayward equipment promotion.
Hi, I'm Rich Gallo with Pierce from Los Angeles, and this is your skimmer tip of the week. Have you ever had a call that you didn't make a note? You go back the next week and you totally forgot that you were supposed to bring a temp sensor or whatever, and it's over, and the customer now wants to know, what happened? Is the heater working? Oh, I forgot. I didn't record it. That never happens anymore. Now that I have Skimmer, I put that note in immediately when the customer alerts me, and it's locked in for the next visit, and it's done automatically. Thank you, Skimmer.
To find out more, check out episodes 138 and 154 of the podcast, or go to getskimmer.com/pool chasers. That's getskimmer.com/pool chasers. This episode is also brought to you by Primate Pool Tools. Cut through the water with ease with an ultra strong and super lightweight carbon fiber pole. Primate poles are available in multiple models with length options for every level of service, whether you work on spas or Olympic-sized swimming pools. Their strength makes them ideal for heavy vacuums like Riptide, and their ultra lightweight makes cleaning any pool easier. All Primate poles are handmade in the USA, come with a commercial warranty, and are even available in custom prints. For more info, click the link below or go to primatepooltools.net. You can also use our special promo code PoolChasers2022 for $20 off. And to learn more about the guys behind Primate Pool Tools, check out episodes 104 and 199.
As we kind of wind down the season, I think it's a great time for people to start really business planning. What does it look like for this winter season going into next summer? How can we plan kind of where we're going and understand our numbers and be able to project next year, those type of things. So what can Leslie's offer that kind of helps with the business planning side of things?
Yeah, I think piggybacking off of what we were just talking about, right, with being that resource, right? There's a couple of different aspects to that resource. There's one, just asking questions, and Leslie's is here to provide you answers, right? Or find answers for you. But the other aspect of that is through that partnership is being able to ask some of the questions back to the pool trade professional and helping them understand some of the aspects of their business, right? This is that time of the year, as you mentioned, you can start to see some of the light at the end of the tunnel, right? In terms of where the temperatures are starting to go to. Although, you know what, I think if anybody walks outside in Arizona right now, they'll want to jump in a pool immediately. So maybe it's a little bit farther out. But right. I think what you got to start looking at as a pool trade professional. I've had a lot of different discussions over the last number of months. Is number one, you want to look at your customer base, right? Where your routes are. What's the time differential to get from one part of your route to another part of your route, and understanding that there's going to be a handful of customers each year that you're going to have turnover on, and and I think everybody's aware of that. but you want to make sure that you're not just adding customers to add customers. And I think, that kind of goes back with our Pro Partner program, why it's beneficial is that when people stop into a store in that market, they typically live in that market, right? So you know where that referral is coming from. It's not just something that randomly came online or, something that came through. It's that somebody walked into that location and is looking for a referral. And I think you got to tie that back to say, hey, where are my customers located? And am I taking advantage of that aspect of my business, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think the next thing you want to look at is your product usage, and understanding the true ROI of what you're doing per visit from a sanitizer perspective, shock perspective, really equipment, I think is probably secondary in that regard, right? Because a majority of the time you're either positioning somebody for new equipment or you're having to correct or address equipment that had an issue, error, broke down. But I think when you really truly understand that ROI and you do the evaluation, and I would encourage all pool trade professionals to do that, because with the number of price changes that we've experienced really over the last year and a half, if you're not continuing to understand what that ROI is and how much product you're using per visit or per customer, you're missing an opportunity to really maximize the profitability of your business, right? And then the last part is going to be in relation to planning for your needs. So as much as we like to think everything is going to be back to normal all the time, and there's just going to be product available all the time. Over the last number of years, I think each pool trade professional has seen, whether it be tablets shortage, then it was Cal Hypo was in shortage, or trying to locate certain equipment was in shortage. We don't know what that might look like as we go down into next year or forecast out, but we've seen something occur over the last couple of years. And so understanding what you need on a weekly or monthly basis is going to put you in a much better position. Now, whether it's just your truck as your storage facility, your storage capability, if you have a separate storage site, if it's your house, you can be able to determine what makes sense for you as a pool trade professional and what you should be planning out in advance for. But I think that's probably one of the other, the last key to be thinking about at this time frame is, what are those needs going to look like on a weekly, monthly basis? Because it's hard to assume that everything's going to be status quo. There's always changes in this industry, and you got to be able to roll with them. But if the more planning you do, the better off you're going to be as a result.
Yeah, absolutely. Is there some type of reporting that you guys can pull for what we've purchased over a certain period of time?
Yeah, so, with a lot of our store managers, or I should say general managers that have been there a long time, they're going to be able to go through all of the purchases with a pool trade professional when they come in. Our WSR team can be able to spend time with pool trade professionals and go through what their purchases, their habits have been, the frequency of their orders, and what items that they are purchasing a lot of, and maybe what items they're not purchasing too. Right.
Mm-hmm.
That's the other thing, is that there might be a way to do things more efficiently, or there might be a way to discover other options in treating the pool, and being able to have that conversation. That's something that our sales team looks forward to. And that's something that we really try and position ourselves to be, not just, hey, we got a product, we want to sell it to you, but we want to really be able to be there to help you build your business. Like I said, I don't want to, that word, that partnership word, that's something that we take very, very seriously, and we want to be that partner, right? It doesn't mean that we're going to get every single sale, but it means that we want to be here to build your business.
Sure. And I think, that's what kind of getting out this business planning. I think projecting next year for most people is pretty difficult to do, but if you have a partner like that, or have that resource, that you can go to that says, over this time, this last year, we purchased X amount of tabs, X amount of shock, right? And I had 80 customers. Now going into next summer, I have 100 customers. What does that look like, right? Projections of how do I multiply what I purchased for these 80 customers to 100 customers, and how can I see that data, right? The numbers don't really lie if you understand how to use them. So, projecting was always difficult for me. something that I think was hard to do, but I think having a resource like this that can give you data, as long as you have the data, you can project pretty well on, what next year might look like. As far as the shortages, we can't control that, but you can understand what your needs are, right? And then you'll know ahead of time, and maybe you can bulk purchase in the winter, or you can start to stock up some of those things, that you may need for the next summer. Some of these equipment as they come in, you might buy an extra one or two of them so that I put in on average 5 pumps a month. I might want to buy a couple extra, to start the season off in case there's another shortage, that type of thing. But it really, giving you the data and having that connection point, I think is huge, especially for smaller businesses. Larger businesses even more important. But as a small business growing, to understand your numbers and know where you're going and be able to project, that's huge.
It builds a comfort level, whether you're a small business or a large business. I think, like you just mentioned, I've got 80 customers. I want to get to 100. Well, what's that going to do for my expenses? I have an idea of how much more revenue I can get,
Sure.
right, by what I charge, but what am I making in terms of a net profit perspective? And I think when you have a goal that you're trying to accomplish as a business, that you're trying to drive towards or obtain, when you have somebody like Leslie's that can help you along that way or help guide in that perspective, to ask some of those questions or to be able to provide some of that information, that's going to allow you to feel more comfortable about obtaining that, right? And sometimes we put out big goals and we go, well, now how do we get there? Well, this is how we can get there, right? We're going to sign you up as a pro partner. We're going to help build your business through referrals. We're going to talk to you about how much you've purchased and what the patterns are of your purchase. So, you can feel comfortable over whether it's the next month or the next quarter or the next number of weeks, this is what I'm going to be needing. This is how I'm going to use it. And this is what it's going to return for me. Those aspects can go a long way in terms of the success of the business and really overall, comfort level of being able to obtain those goals.
Absolutely. All right, let's get to the special announcement.
Yeah.
I've been waiting for this for like a month now for you. So we've been putting out the podcast, trying to get to this point, and now we're here. So share with us what you got.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it was a little bit of we were building the suspense, right? With
Right.
it, just
only between you and I. But
yeah, there was not a lot of people in the suspense, but we were building it. But we are excited to announce that Leslie's has partnered with Hayward to launch a Leslie's Hayward equipment promotion. So I know there's a lot of customers of Leslie's, a lot of listeners of yours, Tyler, are very familiar with Hayward. So we're thrilled to have this partnership with this promotion from a very high level, and then I'll kind of go into some more of the details. But from a very high level, this program is an off invoice cash saving promotion. Okay, what we're doing is we're reducing the price of our Hayward equipment. And being able to give you that money off right at the register so you can save it right now. You don't have to wait. You don't have to get something reimbursed. You're going to be able to save it right now.
Very cool.
Every pool trade professional that shops at Leslie's is eligible to participate in this promotion. It is being run at all of our locations. So from a retail store, pro store, commercial center, wherever you choose to shop, wherever you want to shop, you can take part in this program. So
what does that fully mean?
That's pretty exciting.
Yeah, 100%. So what does that mean exactly for them on the ground level?
Yeah. So again, speaking from the high level, that's what we're doing with this promotion. Where this program really was developed and what it was built off of is, I know many people are familiar with the Totally Hayward program that is out there. We partnered with Hayward in relation to that program, and we use that as a model, in terms of the point value that customers would receive as part of that program. And Leslie's applied a dollar value to those points, and that's the dollar value that we reduced the cost of the product by for when you come in to purchase it. Right. So it's a separate program than the Totally Hayward, right? When individuals have purchased at Leslie's, they haven't been eligible to receive those points. Right now, this program is going to be a separate program. It's not going to confuse any of the potential customers that come in, or the potential pool trade professionals that look to purchase. You come into a Leslie's, you're going to get the equivalent of that dollar value off basically right at invoice. And so it's exciting for us because, especially in this, throughout this year, being able to save money, and we talked about that earlier, is a huge aspect.
Sure.
And doing that right at the register, that's really exciting for us to be able to offer that and be able to have that available for all of our customers.
It's very cool. You partner with the big brand, give us the savings up front, something you don't have to wait till next year to get, So, I like that you guys are starting to think this way and provide these things. I think it's one of the first of many, I'm sure, of these partnerships and what that looks like. But I think it's very cool to have that opportunity, to not have to wait for it, right? So, kudos to you guys to find a partner with one of the big three and just really, providing that to the trade professionals.
Yeah, we're excited. Promotion is going to run through the end of September, which is the end of our fiscal year here. So we encourage all pool trade professionals to stop into their Leslie's if they're looking for equipment, they're looking to take advantage of this promotion. Stop into your local Leslie's. Call your WSR if you already have that relationship with them. Take advantage of it while you can, and we're looking forward to doing more in the future. On top of just this promotion, all of those purchases of the Hayward equipment are still going to count and still be eligible towards our Leslie's annual rebate as well, which is, goes through the end of September. So you're going to be able to take advantage of the dollars off at the register, and then you're going to be able to get something at the back end as well after the end of the year. Like I said, whether it was save somebody time, save somebody money, or be a resource, we want to be all three. But sometimes we're maybe one, sometimes we're maybe two. But in this scenario, we definitely want to be able to save money for all of the pool trade professionals out there, and allow them to take advantage of this promotion.
Yeah, no, it's cool. And I, as somebody who's negotiated deals with big three, it's a lot of work. People might think, oh, they just called Hayward and said, hey, let's do this thing, and they said yes, and we're doing it. No, there's a lot of prep work, right, that goes into this, a lot of negotiations, a lot of contracts, there's so much that goes into working, and partnering with these brands and partnering with Leslie's, and there's a big piece so that the professionals know, this takes a lot of work to get these, type of promotions for them. So thank you guys for doing that for us, and we look forward to hopefully more in the future. But how can people get information on the Pro Partner program and kind of take part in this?
Absolutely. So if you stop in any of your local Leslie's retail stores, visit a store when you have an opportunity. Information on the Pro Partner program is there. Information on the Hayward equipment promotion is there as well. So we encourage everybody to stop into your local Leslie's. If you have the relationship with your WSR, call your WSR. We're going to be reaching out to you as well, in terms of from an email or from a phone call, because we want to inform you as well of the savings that are available and what you can take advantage of. So we're excited to be able to launch this. We're excited for the success that our programs have had, that we talked about earlier. And we're excited to continue to be an asset for the pool trade professional, something, an area that they can lean on, an area that they can go to, and an area that they can see that can help build their business. And that's what we've seen a lot of success with. And we want to continue to do that because, when there's a partnership, it's a benefit for both parties. And that's what we're looking to do. We're not just looking to have people shop with us for any, one reason, A, B, or C. We want them to feel comfortable. We want them to know that they're a partner with Leslie's and that they're going to be, feeling good that they are.
Yeah, absolutely. Always a pleasure talking with you, Chad. Thanks for all information, and we're excited to see what you guys roll out in the future.
Absolutely. Thank you again for having me.
Hey, Pool Chasers. Thanks for listening. We hope you enjoyed the episode. To connect with today's guests, including pictures, links, and resources from everything discussed today, you can visit the episode page at poolchasers.com or click the links below. To connect more with us, you can find us on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter by searching at Pool Chasers. If you would like to support the podcast, the easiest and most effective way is to subscribe to the show on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and YouTube, as well as share the show or your favorite episode with a friend or on social media. Also, you can get early access to each episode by supporting us through Patreon. We know your time is valuable, so thank you for sharing some of yours with us today.
See you out there, Pool Chasers.